So the theme of our paper, which is together with Antonia Stodulaki and Andreas Evstatiadis, we are from the European University of Cyprus. The theme is about smartphone applications and the development of smartphone applications, which we find that is rather ad hoc, and they end up not being used, and that we see a lot of inefficiencies which can be improved by a proper approach. And the approach that we suggest is a market research approach to developing smartphone apps. Especially, we will be looking into the specific kind of apps which have to do with well-being, and more specifically for active mobility. So the apps, the app will be somehow enhancing the and promoting the mobility via active means, which means walking, cycling, and other means that they involve the using the muscles of the human being, which will have multiple benefits for the individual, for the society, for the environment overall, and for the economy, as we will see these multiple benefits, which we have also written in other papers about. So we have this significant impact on the fitness, health of the individual, and also on aspects of sustainability. The approach that we suggest, again, is market-oriented, which means that in the initial stages of software development, which is in the requirements stage, especially requirements elicitation and validation, it's important to somehow look into questions as to how likely are consumers to use the smartphone application, or would they pay for this application that we are planning to develop? Especially here, we should try to derive the variety of business models that exist out there, because you will see that you can create revenue with other means than just direct payment from the consumer, with advertising, sponsorship, with donations, and many other business models that you can include in the development of the application. Further, and most importantly, is the features. What features would they prepare the application to have? And here we will see that we can take this, collect data about the preferences of features, and then do statistical analysis, whereby we can see correlations among the features and the likelihood of using the application, or the likelihood of recommending the applications to others, and also the kind of business model that could be successful. So doing this, though, requires a survey study, and that's what is in the heart of this market-oriented approach, to go directly to the customer. And that's what we have done, and we have applied our method, and we have administered a survey, which was the questionnaire was given to 650 adults, living in Athens, and it was answered by 404, representing a 62.2% response rate. So the sample was we have tried to make it as representative as possible by using simple random sampling techniques, and we have covered a variety of demographic characteristics and a variety of potential users, potential customers. And that is what we have done in order to, first of all, identify the needs and quantify the need. Maybe we can go to to this slide. It's better. So here we see that, yes, respondents of the survey pointed out that the active mobility is something important in their lives. So that is a good signal for us because it shows that we have a need. We have a customer need, and this is the starting point. If you have a customer need, then you can develop an application to satisfy this need. And yes, we proceed though and find out more information about our consumers. So we do that by asking another question, which is to do with the current use of similar applications. And we see that the current market, in our case, is 55% of the respondents. They use similar applications. That means two things for us. One thing is that we can penetrate in this market of the 55%, or we can go to the blue ocean market, as we call it in strategic terms, the blue ocean market of the 45%, and see how we can attract that particular market. So again, very useful information to systematically now develop a smartphone app and not just ad hoc and trial and error, which most probably is error that we will do if we use techniques like that. So systematically now we are knowledgeable about the need, about the market potential, and about the current market. So that leads us to the next question that we have asked, which is about the use of the potential use, the potential use of the proposed active mobility smartphone app. And here, obviously, we see that there are various opinions. It's not clear what this active mobility smartphone app will be anyway, and that's why people are reluctant to use it. But we see that there is some probability of usage if you take the mean of these results we see on the bar chart. So yes, people are more inclined to use such an application. That's also encouraging. But even if it wasn't the case, still we can use this information so that we see how we can convince people to use the application. And that's what leads us to the next question, which is to see whether the consumers are ready to directly pay for the application. And here we see a big no. We see here that most respondents answered that no, we will not want to pay for the application. And the reason is because this is how things work in the area of smartphone apps. There are other business models we should look into. And other business models means, again, probably an advertising model, revenue model, sponsorship, donation, and then gamification as well. We have seen this area of gamification, as well as support from local businesses, because you will see that local businesses can benefit a lot by sponsoring the app, as people who use the app, then they can have access to these businesses through the application. So that's that's the about business models. And then we have proceeded, and we have also done some t-tests to identify differences. This is also part of this market research approach to developing smartphone apps, because within the large market segment of users, we can have separate smaller segments. For example, men and women, and usually we do see differences among men and women. In our case, the differences are minor, to be, and they're not significant, but there could have been the case that we see significant differences. If we see significant differences, that's a signal that we have a new market segment that we should attract in a different way. And the other analysis here is the correlational analysis. So further on, we take one by one the characteristics of the app. For example, here we have in this app a specific characteristics which is found nearby. So in other words, the app will give you information on what you want to do. If you want to find some kiosks nearby, or some restaurants, or some other services that you need, then this is a characteristic that is building the application. And other features like fitness, like health tips, like healthy recipes, and places to walk, places to cycle. All these features are analyzed using correlational analysis. And in this way, we establish with the correlation coefficient, for example, here the find nearby is 0.23, which is significant. There is a significant correlation coefficient, which is different from 0. So we should include it in a model, in a regression model. And that's the next stage that we are into now, whereby all these features, we weigh them up on the regression model, and we see which ones are more important and which ones contribute more to the use of the application, as well as the recommendation of the application to others, and the business model that would be successful for the app. Okay, so based on the results, we have seen that there are important information here we can use in order to develop a successful application. And again, regarding business models, we should consider advertising, sponsorships, and what came up to be quite interesting is gamification. Gamification, which means that people desire some sort of a game in the app, and that motivates them to use the app. And by using the app, by the way, it means that we have benefits for the health of the individual, benefits for the society in general, for health costs, as well as benefits for the natural environment and sustainable development. So in conclusion, we see that developing and launching a smartphone application is not an easy task, a successful application. Again, many applications are developed, but nobody uses them. So it's worth, it's wasting time in this way and effort. And very important again here is to consider a systematic approach, which is given by a market research approach we have proposed and presented in our paper. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, we are pleased to answer them. If Professor Statiadis would like to add upon anything that I have not covered or any comments that you would like to make.
Thank you.
Okay, George, I think that you have already covered all the steps that are followed in developing this project. What I would like to stress is the importance of operating the so-called marketing concept in combination with the engineering concept, so as to really identify the users' requirements that are identify and concentrate on the important users' requirements, so as to consider them in engineering and developing the product, and so as to safeguard successful development and application of the product. And this what we have tested, and it works, and we safeguard that the development of the application it will be successful. This is what I want to stress, that and this it came up out of this research. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.